this week I am focusing on a little bit of self-care, moments of slow, calm, and of course a lot of writing and reading. So I thought that I would take you along with me to show you a little bit about how I write around my 9-to-5 job. I am working on draft 3 of my book, and I have completed it. I've written it from start to finish. It's pretty much a finished book, but as I am a perfectionist, I am going back over it again and just really turning everything up to 11. So where I currently am, I am finished pretty much up until the last quarter of the book, and decided that I was going to reread the book and really figure out what questions I have left lingering to the end, and kind of all the things that I need to neatly wrap up. I took note of all of the questions left unanswered. I took note of the things I wanted to include in the end, all of that stuff. So I finished that. That was pretty much all last week, which is truly why I didn't really film it, because it's really just me sitting and staring at the screen and reading, and I felt like that wouldn't really be helpful. But that's what I did. So now I'm entering the final stage of my book. As I said, it's already pretty much written, but there are a couple scenes that I need to switch up, and there are a couple things that I want to add. I'm really looking forward to it because I probably have like a month of work. So this week, that's what I'm doing. I am actively writing, and I thought it would be perfect to kind of hop back on again and just really show you my process. So a little bit about my time. I do work a 9-to-5 job. I really do prioritize that first and foremost. However, I always take a lunch break. Always. Whether it's 30 minutes or the full hour, I make that a priority every single day, because that really is my time to write, and that is the time that I give myself to really get into my story. And to be honest, I know it sounds like it's really hard to write in only 30 minutes, but when I know that I have just a small amount of time in the day, it really helps me focus, because I know I'm sitting down and I only have this small amount of time and I really need to focus. I also try really hard to spend at least 45 minutes every morning writing, but my typical morning routine is I read and I write. Those are my two favorite things to do in life, and that is how I start the day. It's what I look forward to. So I read for about up to an hour. It all depends on when I wake up. And then I write for up to an hour, and that's what I'm gonna do now. I still have about an hour before I have to start work. It can seem like I'm super productive and I get so much done and it's really inspiring, but really it's just about fitting in whatever small amount I can throughout the day. Sometimes that means I get 150 words down. Sometimes it means thousands. It really depends on the day. So wherever you are, I hope you're cozy. I hope you have a cup of tea or coffee and you're sitting somewhere fabulous and you are ready to watch me try to get in some writing and reading this week. Let's get to it. Happy Tuesday. Yesterday was really hard to focus. I'm really procrastinating because I'm stuck at a scene that is a lot of technical writing. A lot of plot happens in a short amount of time towards the end of my book, as I feel like most books often go that way. So I'm just really procrastinating having to write this scene because it's a lot of technical writing and making sure that the emotional impact is still strong, yet everything is clear. And it's just really hard to write that, obviously. Spent my lunch hour yesterday and my morning just kind of reading the things that I've already written and getting a feel for how I originally laid out the scene and making note of the things that I want to change. And admittedly, this morning, it's almost time for me to leave for work. I did not write. I read instead because, again, I'm procrastinating, but I'm not going to procrastinate. When I sit down for my lunch hour today, I am going to write this scene and I'm going to get it done, and I'm not going to procrastinate. So hopefully I will be updating you saying that I did it because sometimes that's just the way it goes. Sometimes it's just accepting that it's going to take a little bit longer because you're not quite in the mood yet, or other things are on your mind, and it's totally fine. You don't have to be 100% productive all the time when it comes to your writing. It is time to get to work. I am out for a walk right now. I have been in meetings all morning and we really just needed some fresh air. It is a gorgeous day. It's nice and warm, and I love going for a quick little walk before I sit down to write. It's one of my favorite ways to kind of get myself in the mood. I listen to whatever kind of music I'm feeling that day. Sometimes it's really moody, sometimes it's more uplifting. I've been really into the How to Train Your Dragon soundtrack this week. I absolutely love those movies, and I love the soundtrack of the first movie. It's probably one of my favorite albums. The song Test Drive is probably one of my favorite songs of all time. And so I've been listening to that while I've been walking, and it has been so great and so uplifting. And I am ready to sit down and continue writing. A little update from my writing from yesterday. I only got to write on my lunch hour, and I know yesterday I was super jazzed to finish my scene. I knew I was gonna say no matter what. I'm finishing it today, but I did not finish it today, and that is okay. I got about halfway through, and I am really just taking my time with it. As I keep saying, I got just up to the most emotional part and had to stop. So that is what I'm picking up on today. I'm gonna head back and I am gonna finish this scene today, and I am going to check back in later, probably much later, and I'm going to turn to this camera and I'm going to say I finished this scene. And that is that. You hear me, future Megan? Now I'm talking to myself. I mean, I have been this whole time, but okay. Let's get back to work. I got a very exciting delivery in the mail just now, and I'm so excited. I kind of got another idea for a story last week, and it's kind of just been floating around in my head. It's about dragons, which is why it's funny that I said it was floating around in my head. I don't know. So I got these two books, and I know that they're for kids, but they're so cool and I'm so excited. I'll show you really quick what it looks like. The first book, and it is an artist field guide and drawing journal. So cool. All about how to draw dragons, as well as different types of dragons, and it just looks like so much fun. I'm really excited to practice drawing. And then I have the field guide here, which is just basically a bunch of dragons around the world and various species and where they are and their attributes. And I just think it's gonna be so fun to play around with it and to let my imagination soar a little bit when I'm thinking about dragons. So much to come on this story, but I think that this is a really fun start, and we'll see. But in the meantime, I really, really enjoy getting books delivered. It is like Christmas. What do you think? I feel like this whole week, the background and my apartment has just been a huge mess and very disheveled, but I feel like that is very appropriate for this week because this week has been crazy. A little bit of a writing update. I did finish that scene that I've been talking about all week. I finished it. I finished it last night and it feels good. It feels done, and that's the most important thing right now. I had a realization this morning that I could probably finish this draft either today or tomorrow morning, which is crazy to me. For anybody who's confused by what I mean when I say draft, essentially I've written 3 versions of this story. I've written many more versions of this story, but I've written 3 complete versions of this story. I don't know if this is the way people normally write, but it's the way that I wrote this story. My very first draft was a condensed version of the story, essentially. It was just me really feeling out the plot and feeling the characters, and it was very bare bones. This is what happens in my story. I finished it and I had a couple people read it and give me notes and kind of things that they wanted to see more of, and also really just very honestly, I wanted to know if it was a decent story and if it was worth the time. Granted, I had my boyfriend and my best friend read it, so they both said that yes, it was worth my time. No surprise there. I went back and I started fleshing it out a bit more. So I turned up the magic, I answered questions that they had, I kind of fixed glaring plot holes, I added a bunch more. And that was my second draft, and that was the draft that I finished earlier this year. And it really did feel more like a book, more like a story. So I had even more people read it, and I had a group of readers go through it and give me their notes. And then what I've been doing now since that time is I've been working on the third draft, which is this draft, which is the last draft that I am going to write until I have a professional look at it, whether I'm able to sell this book or if I hire a professional editor to go through it. So basically what I've been doing with this draft is going even further into those questions that are left lingering. I've gotten some really great notes from some of the readers where they wanted to see changes in certain scenes and things like that. And that's what I've been doing with this draft. So I've really and truly been living in this story for years and years. And in my mind, it is a series, so I will continue on in this world. But this particular story and these particular scenes I have read countless times, and I know I'm going to continue to read them countless times because we are in no way done this work and done with this particular story. But all that being said, I am almost done this draft. And what that means for me is that essentially I get to write new things. I haven't written a new thing in years other than the short stories, but I get to start on the second book in this series or start a completely new story that I have in my head, and that is really, really exciting. I was not planning for this video to capture the moment that I finish it, but it probably will, and that is really cool because, like I said, I think I'm gonna finish it either today or tomorrow. into a much more exciting week than I thought it was going to. I didn't think that I was going to get through the rest of my book that quickly, but wow, I am finished. Whenever this happens, I always just like to take a minute and really think about all the work that I've put into this draft and how long I've worked on it. I find that sometimes I get a little excited to move on to the next thing, or excited to jump right back in and start working on it again, but I'm gonna take a minute and I'm gonna really enjoy this. I finished my third draft, which means, as I feel like I've said quite a bit, that I am done with this story until a professional looks at it. Wow. I'm so excited and so happy to be here, but I would be untruthful if I didn't say that I'm also fighting the urge to say it is not perfect and I really need to work on the end, and all of this negative self-talk that is floating around now that I'm at the end. But a lot of writing for me is just listening to my gut and listening to my instincts. And my instincts are telling me right now that I'm done with this story, I'm done with this book, and it's time to kind of take a break from it and do something else. For now, I'm going to rejoice in the fact that I finished. It is almost 8:30 and we are gonna have burgers to celebrate, and I'm gonna wake up super early tomorrow and edit this video, if not start tonight. But I finished my third draft. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you are staying creative and embracing the cozy season that we are currently in. And until next time, bye!